Morning, guys. All right, well, it's not really morning. I spend most of the morning on the old YouTube getting my motivation from the guys I like to watch. But I'm a little perplexed this morning because you guys remember this, right? I did that the other morning, ran it, went through it, found a whole bunch of leaks in the radiator. I showed it to you on video, and yet today, can you see that? It's still holding coolant. It's still holding the water. And if you go around on this side, if I can not trip, there's no moisture anywhere on the back of this radiator. Now, I know it was right up there on the top. You can see the stain. That's where it was leaking from. And it may leak still. I don't know. But somehow it decided to fix itself. Right here it says, if you got leaks, use head gasket in a bottle. Sure, okay. I'm a big fan of K-Seal for coolant leaks. But it's got to come out because, you know, we got aluminum, we got fans, we got fancy stuff. So I did go ahead and you can see over there in the back corner, that guy. That is our fan relay. And right here on the kill shot auxiliary wiring from the fusion there, this is fan 1. So it's a ground trigger. So I got my hot lead that's going to run over to the fan once we get it installed. And then I got a solid 12 volts coming right here from the solenoid. So keep in mind, we're not grounding the fan through the kill shot. We're grounding the relay through the kill shot. That would probably be bad. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and I'll turn the camera around and hopefully it keeps running because the sun's out. It's getting hot. It's 90 something already. And we'll get this guy out of here and we'll put the aluminum one in. Let me just round up the right tools first so I don't bore you with that. And then I'll get back at it. Alrighty guys, so I'm learning real quick about this filming in the desert stuff. And iPad, iPhone, they don't like the heat directly on them. So I threw some microfiber towels over the iPad. Hopefully it won't overheat. We'll see. I got most of my tools. Where's my screwdriver? There it is. I'm trying to figure out where to set tools so they're not 1,000 degrees. It happens fast. So what I'm gonna do, we're gonna take the fan off, but I'm gonna leave the spacer there because even though I trust the Aces, it is an Amazon special on the radiator and that cooling fan. So I don't know what kind of quality that relay is gonna be. I don't know what kind of quality the fan is gonna be. So worst case scenario, if the relay or the fan quit working, I mean, I'll have a backup relay and fuses, you know, and all that, because you got to. But if the fan goes bad, that electric fan goes bad, you know, you can't just pick one of those up on any street corner. You're gonna have to figure out what's gonna fit your application and then go from there. I mean, I was originally looking at getting like a fan off a Grand Marquis, an electric one to put on here, and that was like $100, which wasn't bad. But then when I saw the hole in the radiator, I started looking at radiators, and I came across this one, and it's a fan and radiator, and 3-core instead of 2, and aluminum instead of whatever this is. And it was like $216 or something like that. So I figured, okay, why not? Let's just grab it and go for it. And we'll see. Hopefully it lines up to the holes in the core support here, but if it doesn't, well, that's fine too. You know, we'll just drill some new ones. Look at that. That is just water, but it is nice and brown, so. There must still be some of that cleaner in there. I flushed it a bunch of times, but it's still coming out brown. It smells nasty too. Oh well. Watch this other one. The lower hose is going to dump right on my shoe. Watch. Both the lowers are out. And just this upper one. 7/16 right there. Guys, I let this thing run after I turned the camera off last night for a good solid 20-30 minutes. And it never got, I mean, it was idling. I only wrapped it a few times. And it never got over 194 degrees. And that was just running on water. And the outside temp yesterday, I mean, sundown, it was probably 87. But it was interesting to watch the kill shot, well, more listen to it, do its thing. Because, you know, it starts to self-learn. Get this out of here. There we go. It starts self-learning once the coolant temp gets up above, I think it's 160, 180, something like that. Anyway, once the temperature was up and it was consistently over 180 at least, I just sat and watched the handheld, and you could hear the RPMs change. It was moving the IAC around. It was the timing was changing, the temperature was changing, the idle was changing, the air fuel ratio kept changing. It was pretty cool because it was literally just sitting there trying to figure out where it wanted to be. Now I think I'm at about 2,500, 3,000 feet above sea level, and on a normal drive, there's passes in Utah which I go through on a regular basis that are 7,000. There's some guys that are living over on the east side get up 8,500 on some passes. There's one pass that I went over in my semi that was 10,000. It was crazy. So having this fuel injection that can adapt to those kinds of changes is pretty cool, because I can run down to Vegas, I can run up to Salt Lake, I could cruise over to Denver. You know, that I-70 climbing to Denver is crazy. But it would be neat to see what a long trip like that would be like. Or what if I cruised over to LA and decided to go cruise the beach. You know, there's a few guys I watch that are over in LA that they do meet and greets every so often. And if I had a day or two notice that that was happening, dude, I could shoot right on over there and meet some of the guys that inspire me to put mine on film. You know, I mean, I don't care about making money. I do this because it's fun. It's a way for my kids to see the stuff that I do. It's a good way to show you guys, you know. I mean, hot rodding's kind of a, I don't know if it's a dying thing, but you know, these old cars, they're not making any more of them, that's for sure. So we got to save the ones that we can when we can. And you know, if we can make an old car run as reliably as the new cars, dude, I'd way rather drive something old that has character. You know, I mean, I don't know. If I could get 14, 18 miles per gallon out of this old girl, I'd be stoked with that. Okay, there we go. So that's on. And I should probably grab the hose. I'm gonna just run some through and flush it out. So let me do that. Well, trying to flush that didn't really work. I forgot that I do have a thermostat in here, so as soon as I sprayed it, it shot me in the face. And the camera wasn't on, so you missed it again. It's hilarious. All right, let's see if this guy fits. You always gotta wonder, because you know, it said it fit Comet, Falcon, Mustang. It said it fit everything. And uh-oh. Oh, my plan for the spacer is not gonna work. Okay, back to plan B then, which is plan C, D, and F also, I guess. I don't know. Well, I'll take the spacer off and I'll drop that in the water. It's all right. It's where it always goes, right? Right under the middle of the car. All right, so the spacer and those bolts will have to go in a baggie in the trunk. And now I need to go find some fine thread bolts that'll work for just the water pump. And just the pulley and the pump. Great. I feel like I've already done this a bunch of times. Another interesting thing I found this morning when I came out is there was engine oil on the ground dripping out of the driver's side header collector. Okay, so typical Apple world, the iPad overheated right as I was talking to you. So there's what we're doing. We take the fan off, the spacer off, and hopefully we're gonna make room there to put that radiator in. Hopefully she fits. So let's see. Is there somewhere that I can set this where it's not gonna overheat? I don't know. Will that work? Is that okay? Can you guys see that? I don't know. Let's see. Let's try putting. Let's prop this up. How about that? Well, you can sort of see. Oh yeah, and I left the radiator sitting in the sun, so it's hot. Everything's sitting in the sun. Kind of wish it was on the other side today. I wish we were back in the shady side, but we're not. Fits. Question is, will the lower fit? You know, sometimes you just need a dab of grease and run that in the inside of that hose. It'll help slide on a little easier. I'm just worried that that outlet is larger than this. The struggle is real, folks. Can you count on the aftermarket world ever? Gonna go with no. You can't. Why is that larger? Dang it. Here we go, fusion's in, running the fans, doing the fusion things. Sweet. There it is, Ben. Fusion doing fusion things. Electric fans, relays. What we got over there? Command Center 2. Running off the API. Dedicated at the battery, 12 volt clean. It's doing all the things it's supposed to do. We got fuel pressures. And we got rumbly bumbly. Alright guys, well, we started this day with the plan of doing brake stuff, but the sun did not agree with us. It got hot fast. So we did other things. So, yeah, now we're back at it. Turn off that dang compressor, hold on. Let's see here. Show you what we got going on. I'm gonna go over here. Alright, there you go. You can see we got a drum brake car. And I've never had the drums off of this thing. And I've never packed bearings. So I figured it'd be a good thing to at least inspect them. And, you know, it's funny because I'll harp on it too, that there's the right tool for every job. But the way today's gone, I think it's enough to know that I got the right tool somewhere around here. So, since I couldn't find it, I got this here screwdriver. And I just sharpened the bit, or sharpened the tip, so that it's a chisel now, because it was already broke. So now, it is the right job, the right tool for the job. Okay. So right in here you got, I see a lot of guys complicate this stuff. Coming apart, going together. It's just tapered roller bearings. It is seriously so simple. It's never anything to worry about. Just need a pair of channel locks or vice grips or what have you. Find some here in a second. Diesel's had all the heat he can handle for one day. He's left me more than once. All right, so these are just usually barely overhand tight because you just need a little bit of preload on those bearings. I've seen guys crank these things down so tight. You don't need to do that. Never a need to do that. Okay. All we're gonna do is pull this outer bearing Look how hot it is. That grease is like oil right now. Now you use the castle nut on the outside, and you just thread it on there a little bit. And when you pull the drum, you just drag it down and use the nut to grab the inside of that bearing, and then it'll pop the bearing out, and it'll pop your seal out, and you won't damage the seal. And then you can reuse it, although it does look, from all this muck around here, like maybe that seal isn't exactly doing its job. I gotta go find some towels. How could I come not prepared? Oh, I don't know. 102 degrees, my brain's dead. Alrighty, well, there's some good news anyway. Somebody did the brakes on this car. It wasn't me. Who knows when that was? But good enough for me. The real reason we're tearing this down though is so that we can take a look at these bearings. Because all I've ever done is tow this car. I towed it, oh, I don't know, 150 miles once. But that was on a dolly, so the fronts didn't spin. And then the next time I towed it was on a U-Haul. You guys saw that. So yeah, the wheels didn't spin there either. So all I'm doing, you can tell more from the bearing race inside the hub. You can tell more from the race than you can from the bearing. So what you want to do is, when you get these open, get some good light and just wipe the grease out. And you're looking for bluing from excessive heat, and you're looking for pitting. Sometimes I'll be rusty, and sometimes you can actually feel it. If you can feel it, you should replace it. This feels great. Now, I can't feel it, but I can see it. That may just be from where it sat for a long, long time, but I can't feel it, so I'm just going to go with its discoloration. And then we're going to clean out this outside. Usually it's an outside bearing that fails. It's the smaller of the two, and usually the most neglected. And when people over tighten the bearing to begin with, that lock nut, it's the outside bearing that goes first. So, more reasons not to over tighten. Alright. Got all the old goog and pucky out of there, most of it anyway. Some guys will tell you not to pack this hub with grease. They say, oh, it retains the heat. Okay. This thing's pretty warm to the touch right now, and it has hardly any grease in it. But I always put plenty in there because I would rather extra grease and no room for water. You know, granted I'm in the desert, but I didn't grow up in the desert. I grew up where it rains all the time. And I grew up where people are driving in the ocean all the time. So when you got less room for contaminants because the grease repels the water instantly, I'd rather err to that side. But you know, to each his own, whatever. Okay. I'm gonna go through a lot of towels. I like those blue towels, but they're pretty expensive. And right now, I don't have any. So, Dollar General, baby. Alright, so I'm gonna wipe off the old grease as much as we can. Some guys like to use solvent. If they're really gritty and nasty, you know, solvent or brake clean or whatever is fine. You know, get the chunks out of it. This is not that. This is super, super runny. But I'm guessing it's because it's so hot. It smells pretty good. Old grease, the real stuff is out of whale blubber. Baby seals, who knows? See a lot of guys too, man, they're scared to get their hands dirty. Dude, can't be scared to get your hands dirty. Just get in and do it. So much faster. So much faster when you just get your hands dirty. Alright. So, I make little bearing packers. You can use those, that's fine. I do it like this. Grab a blob of grease, get it in your hand, and you just pack it. You can see, I don't know if you can see it there. The red grease pushes the old grease out between the rollers. So you just pack it. You see the red grease start coming through. And you just roll the bearing a little bit and you just keep doing it. And you see it's pushing out all the old nasty grease. Now, is this going to be 100%? Nope. Good enough for me. Better than this old car's had in a long time. It's that simple. You just run it around, pack it through, get the nasty stuff out, as much of it as you can, and that bearing is packed. That easy. That is the same thing that those little fancy bearing packers do. You just scrape it and scrape it and it just pushes it through. Get all the good stuff. Alright. And then we'll take the old nasty stuff that it pushed out. Get rid of it. Take an ample supply of the good stuff, pack it in the hub. This stuff is really thin because of the heat down here. Man, it's crazy. Set the bearing back in. Super easy. I don't even know if you guys can see that. Can you see that where you're at? I don't know. Let me look and see. Nope, you can't. So we'll pull this back up here. How about that? Can you see that? That's a little bit better. So we got plenty of, oops, falling into the hole. Falling and I can't get up. Somebody call for backup. See that? Comes clean. Just grease, guys. Just grease. Alright. We're going to take our old seal. Since we didn't damage it coming out, might be a little brittle, a little dry. I've had this car for, I think, 5 years, and it's been its whole time sitting. You just tap that little guy back in. So, I've got even any spray to get rid of that stuff. But overall, it looks pretty good in there. I just like to grab a big old fat clump of it, put it in there, and And if the seal's doing its job, it'll keep it from going out the back. And any extra, we'll just squeeze right back out the front once we get that in, right? Okay, so that's on. Now we need to pack the little bearing for the front, so make sure we got no grit on our hands, right? Grab some red grease right into the palm of our hand. Just pack it. Spin the bearing. Pack it. Spin the bearing. See the gut coming out? You know, when it's cold, it's a lot easier because the greases don't mix as easy. So the grease is thicker and you can actually really see the stuff coming out, you know. This is a little harder because it's so thin. But it's all good. So we got plenty of grease there. I'm gonna put the good grease back in the bucket. Be careful, don't spin it, you'll slice your fingers off. I told you so. So when you do, it's my fault. See that? Just pushes all the extra out. Just save that for nice big one. Add stuff there. Okay. Keyway right there. I don't know if you can see that little notch right there. Put that in. Spin our nut down as much as we can get it. By hand. And all we're trying to do is seat these bearings. We're not trying to really put a load on them. We just want them centered. You know, they're tapered. They both angle towards the middle. Where they're tapered roller bearings. You know, and this is the part where I see guys just crank these things to the moon. You don't need to. Get that extra off of there. Grab your pliers. I'm just taking that, see that? It's snug. Give it a little spin, you can see it's pushing the extra grease out. Maybe try a little bit more. Nope, it's not going. So you back it off. You can even do it this way, just like that. This is like literally in inch pounds, guys. It's probably not even inch pounds, really. If you go to the book, they probably want you to have use a scale and get pounds of resistance as it rolls. I mean, it's super small amount of load that goes on there, right? So that's all there is to it. You don't, it's not rocket science. Don't overthink it. Don't make it any harder than it needs to be. Only put just enough grease in this cap to keep the rust away, because if you get too much in there, you'll push it on there and it'll seal and it won't sit in there all the way. So then you put your cage on there and you wonder, what did I do with my cotter pin? And everyone will tell you, don't reuse your cotter pins. Yes, that's true. Some people say, use a nail. Yeah, you can use a nail. No big deal. You can use whatever you got, as long as it don't come out. Me, I'm reusing the cotter pin. I don't feel like hunting down new ones. So, just slide her in there. Find where it is. I don't even remember where the hole is. On the edge? Yeah. Right there. Yeah, there it is. Alright, so just find the hole, line the cage up with the hole, stick the pin back through it. tappy tap tap. We'll go right back through there. And just bend it over. You bend it enough times, will it break? Probably. Am I worried about it? Nope. I've been doing it this way for a long, long time. Better believe it. That's it. So, you know, right now, this looks really darn good, and there's no reason spending any money on upgrading. But, these are 10-inch drums. They'll stop pretty good. I mean, could we put disc brakes on it? Sure. Will we put disc brakes on it? Probably not. We'll just tap, tap, tap. That's it. She's done. Repeat as needed on the other side. So I'll spare you that. Stay hydrated. Oh, it's still hot. Smokey Burnouts.